The oven's not finished yet, Sarah. I'll try getting to that probably next.
It's been over 45 days. Don't worry about it.
Damaging a lot of stuff, took some of my cushions, threw my router down, my home security, and my Amazon Alexa, broke my TV screen.
Hello, everybody. I may have camera issues in this video. I just want to get that out right away because I tried to use my other laptop, which is now basically just a brick. Yeah, not fun. Today we're going to talk about renting horror stories. So let's get into this. Okay, so this lady's going to talk about how she rented out her Airbnb and how she had tenants from hell, as it says right there. Part one is basically just her setting it up, so no point showing that. I'm not going to show all the parts. I'm probably just going to show this one, and we'll go on to the next video after that.
Part 2 of the Airbnb saga. So, where to even begin? So, we had these tenants and pack of boys. Should have known. No offense to you dudes, but our house can fit several people. You know, we got this nice play set in the backyard, so we try and rent mostly to families. However, and I had like a Holy Spirit nudge about this, so I should have listened, but I didn't. And long story short, our wonderful neighbors right here, we get a text from them at 11 a.m. saying, we know that you have Airbnb people in your house. Did you know that they were up partying till 3 in the morning? And we said, no, we didn't. We actually didn't know that, because posted all over our house, which I will show you, are the house rules of quiet hours are after 10 p.m. And if you've ever stayed in Airbnb, you know that quiet hours are after 10 p.m. as we have in our beautiful house manual right there. And so we ended up calling the tenants and we're like, okay, you know what? Like, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Things happen, whatever. So we called them, and first and foremost, wow, my eyes look really creepy with this filter. I'm gonna go in more light. First and foremost, what happened is we called and we said, hey, we got 2 different neighbors reports saying that you guys were out drunkenly walking around at 2:30 in the morning. What's up? And the craziest thing was that the people that were staying, the person who actually booked the number that was attached to the Airbnb account was not the gentleman that was staying here. It was one of their wives. And so the first person that we had to call to break this news to was actually their wife, who we got to tell this incredible story of how they broke the rules. Okay, fam.
Okay, I was expecting more on that. So you know what? We will go to another part. Let's see. I'm curious as to where this is going.
So we call the wives, and of course her first question is, do you have proof of this? Like, do you know that this is happening? And we're like, yeah, we have texts from our neighbors, and we don't know what's going on. Like, it's just, you know, a weekday, and we're just trying to go about our day. My husband and I run 6 different businesses between the 2 of us, and so we certainly did not have time to take time out of our day on a Friday to manage this. It's not what we wanted to do. It ended up being an 8-hour day. So we were like, okay, let's give them grace, you know, whatever. Then we get a second phone call from our neighbors. And now I will say that this is alleged. We are not saying that these people did this. I am just saying this is a curious circumstance. So we live on a very quiet, as you can tell, like just neighborhood, lots of families. Everybody on our street is retired other than us. And it's very quiet out here. This is the middle of the day, right? Like, ain't nothing happening around here. So mysteriously, and I'm just saying this is a coincidence, okay? The people who may or may not have been in our house may or may not have been on a, let's just say, sports trip, and there were golf clubs that were stolen out of our neighbor's son's car. Now, our neighbor's son did leave the doors unlocked, which is his fault, but not a lot of people drive across our street, not a whole lot of action. So again, I'm just saying it's a coincidence. I am not accusing anything at all, but just so happened to that the night that the Airbnb people were here was also the night that the golf clubs were taken out of that person's car. So that is problem number 2. So now within 8 hours of people being here, there was a noise complaint however it happened. There was a noise complaint. The complaint from our neighbors was that people were drunkenly coming into our house at 2:30 in the morning, woke up the dogs, and were making a bunch of noise, which, you know, we want to have good relationships with our neighbors. That was not fun to hear. And then, second thing is that someone, we don't know who, but somebody also stole golf clubs. So you can imagine it's the middle of a workday. Landon and I have a million other things to do. We're just thinking, cool, we're going to have normal people stay at our house. And yet we have 2 complaints and definitely 1 rule break within 8 hours. And so we're like, okay, now we got to figure out where these golf clubs went. Like, whoever did it, right? Again, not accusing. This is all alleged, you know, whatever. But we got to do some investigating, or else our entire neighborhood is going to hate us on our street.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go into the other parts. I'm sure there's more to it. I'm kind of curious, but I don't want to just make this whole video about this one story. They probably did steal those golf clubs, right? Like 9 out of 10 chance they stole those golf clubs. Why you wouldn't lock your car in the first place? I don't know. I get that it's probably a really safe neighborhood, but I still think that's just a dumb decision. So that is kind of on the sun. The fact that nobody has cameras, it seems, also kind of a red flag. Yeah, I don't know. I like the story though. At least so far, it's funny. I'm gonna go to the next video. Okay, so I know I'm kind of in the Airbnb realm right now. I actually meant to talk more about just like actual renting and housing, but these stories they count, right? So let's go over this. This one's actually a 2-parter, so I'll show part 1 and then I'll show part 2, and we'll talk.
My house out on Airbnb, and this is what happened. 29th of January, I got a same-day booking request. I was super excited because I actually needed the money, but this is what happened. As you can see, they started damaging a lot of stuff, took some of my cushions, threw my router down, my home security, and my Amazon Alexa, broke my TV screen, punched holes in the walls, broke my shelf, broke my table, bought a new one, and chairs. As you can see, there's still tags on them. Ruined all the carpet, stole my comforter, replaced my sheets, broke my shower caddy, and poured bleach down this tub, and I just got this refinished and I have to redo it all over again. Poked hella holes into my doors, scratched up my walls, got blood on the carpet, so I have to replace that as well. Took all my towels and sheets for each bedroom. Broke more than half my glasses, more than half my coffee mugs, and my wine glasses, and then bought these and replaced them. Broke my cabinet. Put random ass food in here. Dumped bags of cake. Yes, bags of cake in here, and open food. And guess what? More cake. Stole half my silverware. Don't know where it's at. Pots and pans also gone. Threw bones and a lot of other stuff down the sink. And guess what? Now there's water that stopped up here, so I have to call a plumber. Like and follow for part 2 because it's my Airbnb experience. So just to recap, I had a booking same day for December 29th all the way through January 3rd. They ended up throwing a party. I told them to get out, and then they ended up trashing it. So let's go ahead and go back into it. Cake and more cake. Don't know what that is. Vegetables raw. Pineapples. Just basically ruined this fridge. Ruined my pots and pans. Food in the microwave uneaten. Nasty, 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 nasty. Ugh. Scratched up my walls, tore up the shoe molding, and also scratched up my floors that I just got done. More holes in the walls, more shoe molding destroyed. More cake, more cake, more cake, and guess what? They also smoked in here as well. To top it off, they broke my lamp, broke the door off the hinge, broke the door frame, and left a load of evidence. Here's my dining table. As you can see, it shouldn't be doing that. My $500 rug that I just got that they somehow ruined, spilled a lot of stuff on. I don't even know. I can't even open the rest of it, but that's ruined. Here's one of my dining table chairs, and they also stole all but one of my paper towels. And it wouldn't be a party if somebody wasn't pissy drunk. Like and follow for what's next.
Okay, I'm only going to show those 2 parts. I don't think there's any more to it. That obviously sucks super hard. His fridge is not ruined, by the way. You can just clean out that cake and the vegetables. Like, his fridge is fine. There's nothing wrong with his fridge. Even the oven with all the meat that's in it, which is gross for sure. It probably smells bad. I don't know how long it's been in there, but you can still clean that out. We had a fridge in the freezer. My mother forgot to empty it and she had unplugged it. And so it just built up blackness all inside the freezer. There were little bugs everywhere. It was super disgusting. Super disgusting. But we cleaned it, and now you wouldn't even be able to tell that it was ever one of the worst things I've ever had to smell in my life. So you can clean up all that crap. That's all I'm saying. Why you're spending $500 on a rug? I don't know. Especially for a place you're renting out to people. I don't know if this guy's ever heard of IKEA, but he should go to IKEA. All the furniture, just get it all at IKEA. It's cheap. It looks like it's not cheap for the most part. If you do a good enough job, it should be fine. The blood on the carpet, that's a little concerning. Maybe there was like a fight club. I don't know. That's a ton of cake. I know that he said they were throwing a party, but that's a ridiculous amount of cake. Everybody there's got to have diabetes. Everybody. Everybody. That chocolate cake looked pretty good, though. I wouldn't mind diabetes for that cake. If I don't have it already. Yeah. Let's go to the next video. Okay, I'd like to apologize in advance for this dude's eyebrows. They're a lot. They're at least for me, they're a lot. They're a lot to deal with.
When you spend $2,500 a month to have a rusted water heater that exploded on you. When you spend $2,500 a month to have a router that's just completely stuck to the wall and not replaceable that easily. That's from like the AOL era. When you spend $2,500 a month to have to reseal the glass door yourself because maintenance won't come and do it. When you spend $2,500 a month to have electrical outlets that are permanently destroyed and covered in bug feces. Or how about no outlet cover at all? When you spend $2,500 a month and had to replace the batteries in all the smoke detectors yourself with your own batteries. When you spend $2,500 a month to have paint chipping off of your ceramic bathtub. When you spend $2,500 a month to have a raccoon trying to break through your ceiling. When you spend $2,500 a month to have a lamp that shade looks like it was made from someone's sweaty undershirt. When you spend $2,500 a month to have to boil your water so that you can take a hot bath. When you spend $2,500 a month to have the counter space of the Smurfs. When you spend $2,500 a month and you had to clean and repair your AC yourself because the outside unit had the compressor explode. My bad, I meant conductor. When you spend $2,500 a month to have your floor trying to run away. When you spend $2,500 a month and they still haven't come to replace the broken window pane 6 months after you moved in. When you spend $2,500 a month for your water pressure to be like a lousy pee stream. When you spend $2,500 a month for them to have just decided to paint over the leaves on your patio instead of removing them. When you pay $2,500 a month and you have to install a laundry light yourself. When you spend $2,500 a month and that shower bar above my head and that shower head are both mine. I had to bring them here. I got neither. Yes, there also is dust in the vent that they never cleaned out. And by the way, my electric bill is like $400 and something for some reason. When you spend $2,500 a month to have the only time your maintenance ever bothered to show up is when they bring 3 investors into your house at 1 p.m. uncalled for and unnoticed while you're taking a shower.
Okay, so when you spend $2,500 on a bad house to rent, that's what the video should be called. He has it renting in America is the worst experience ever, but obviously there's terrible renting experiences all over the place. The next video I'm going to show you, it's actually about Australia, but clearly this dude just made a ton of bad decisions. Like, come on. It's unfortunate his water heater exploded, if that's actually what happened, but there's a ton of rust down there. You can see it. It looks awful. You have to imagine that this guy, like, he either didn't look at the house at all before he rented it, or he walked in and he's like, oh, they're going to fix everything for free and it's going to be just fine. I feel like those are the only 2 thought processes that could have popped into his head. It's just dumb. It's dumb. This one's more on him than it is on the dude renting the house, to be honest, because of how stupid it is. There's clearly a ton of problems. Like here, we've got this message here. Brother, you picked the place. You did. You did pick the place. And look at his response. Are you dense? Yeah, I totally decided to be forced to rent this place because it was the only place that me and 2 roommates could barely afford, with all of us working full-time jobs. This, I just don't think this dude wants to take any responsibility for his very, very, very poor decision making. If he's got 2 roommates and all 3 of them obviously must be grown adults, they're all working full-time jobs. Maybe they don't have the best job. I don't know. But still, all 3 of them working full-time jobs, they could definitely afford a better place. He likes to say that this place is $2,500 of rent, and this is like the cheap place. This is not. This is not cheap. I don't know what place he's living in, like what state, but I guarantee you that's not the cheapest place. No shot. No shot that's the cheapest place you could find rent. He mentioned his bill for electric was like $400. That's disgusting. That's absolutely gross. But I mean, that's probably an issue with the electrical in the house. So that sucks. That's unfortunate. I'll give him that one. The having to heat up water, I've actually had to do that. I don't have gas in my house right now, so I take cold showers. We have like a little college burner, you know, you just plug in, and I put pots on that and up and taking a bath before. Not fun. Takes forever. Usually, though, I just take the cold shower. It is what it is. Can't afford the gas bill right now. It's okay. But still, all choices he made before moving in. I didn't make that choice with my house. So, yeah. You should click subscribe so I can someday get this channel monetized and make money. Have hot water. Like the video. I'm going to go to the next video now. Okay. I'm having issues getting it to go to the beginning, but renting in Australia is a nightmare. That's what it says at the
Nightmare,
beginning.
and stories about having to pay extremely high rent while your landlord basically ignores you are super common. So common that when we asked a bunch of people about their own stories, what we heard back was absolutely insane. Like, this is the first one. They discovered that the exhaust hood over the stove didn't go anywhere. It just went into the cupboard. Or how's this for an at-home fix-up of a leaky tap? I think that's how they actually teach you how to do it in plumbing school. You get the plastic bag and you kind of like use duct tape. Yeah, I think that's right. Or this very chill interaction where a landlord would text people and be like, are you home? I need to inspect things. Don't worry that it's 9 o'clock at night. And they'd be like, we're not home. And he'd be like, kind of sounds like people are home, which is like, are you outside, dude? Got to do a shout out to the mushrooms growing out of the wall/ceiling. Like, that is a classic. If you live in inner city Sydney, Melbourne, any capital city basically in the country, you've probably experienced this one. Chef's kiss though has to go to this one. A warning that it's probably going to make you gag. We asked our real estate agent to send someone around to fix our block shower head, and they sent some old guy who unscrewed their head and sucked out the blockage like a tube of yogurt. So yeah, look, like probably the most unsurprising thing is that none of this is super surprising, but at least we're all in it together, and we'll get a house someday, maybe.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Especially
Your
that
landlord
first
basically
one.
ignores their own stories.
Right there. With the toilet literally in the floor. That's terrible. That's terrible. As we saw in the beginning, we have some experiences from
Back
people.
was
Okay, I don't know why this is just playing. From bad renters renting places like the Airbnbs and just messing things up, which sucks. That sucks, especially if you're trying to run a business and you're trying to do it legitimately and be a good not tenant, a renter. I don't know. My brain's spacing right now in some words. Sorry. But then there's obviously stories like this, right, where the landlord could do something to fix it, but they don't because they're just a bunch of shady douchebags. And again, I'm not even focusing on that last story with the dude with the weird eyebrows because that one's on him. That one's on him. Nobody can convince me otherwise. That one's completely his fault. Except for maybe the dude showing up at 1 p.m. to inspect the house or whatever with investors, if that's a true story. That's weird. I mean, this guy mentioned here, right, that somebody came in at like 9 p.m. to check out the place. That's also weird. Those are very strange times to be checking out a house. Just a lot of weirdness going on here. A lot of weirdness going on here. If you have a weird story from a landlord, like a landlord doing something weird while you were renting a place, please let me know in the comments. I really want to know what it is. I'm super, super curious. I'm going to read this comment real quick and then we'll go on to the next video. I had the ceiling collapse at my rental in Sydney. That sucked. Lol, they didn't fix it and then they tried to claim my bond. And I'm assuming that's his deposit. I'm assuming that's just the word they use in Australia. I obviously don't know, but I'm assuming that's what that is. Let's go to the next video. This one's interesting for sure. It says landlord keeps entering unit pretending to fix things. Covering cameras, always my bedroom and bathroom.
The oven's
And why
not
she went with
finished yet, Sarah.
red
I'll
boots.
try getting to that probably next.
It's been over 45 days. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna get to it. I'll be back.
Is that everything, Brian?
I think so. Yeah. You know, it's good. My wife makes me check my phone, keys, and wallet every time I leave the door. All right.
It's in my bathroom.
Yep.
Okay. The outsider supervisor should be arriving shortly.
All right.
Okay, that one almost feels like a skit. It's kind of goofy, right? That guy is walking around the apartment barefoot. And I do apologize for talking a little bit while they were first starting the conversation. He mentions how he'll be back to fix the oven. And she's like, it's been 45 days already. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure this is real. It feels kind of skittish, but I'm pretty sure it's real just by the way she said that with the 45 days. And I don't know, the guy in the uniform, maybe that's what's selling it for me. This guy seems like the kind of guy who got caught doing something wrong and is pretending like he's just fixing stuff, as it says. Right? He's like, oh, it's fine. I'll be back tomorrow. Get everything ship shape. Don't you worry about it. I'm not guilty of anything. I wasn't installing cameras in your restroom or in your headboard as you watch you as you sleep. Not me. I'm an upstanding guy. I don't know. This feels like a weird one. What do you think? You think it's a skit? You think it's real? You think that dude's a creeper? I feel like he's a creeper. I'm gonna go to the next video.
This is how my tenant left. My father, my son helped move out that. She owe 7 months rent and look on the place. Pay roach, pay garbage everywhere. This is how she left it. That's how she live. And when we come for the inspection, she vex when we come because she have about 10 people that living here. Look, disgusting. Woman not even move with her bed because I pay a roach. I pay a dirty roach. Look there. And I think I joke me again. I'm telling you now, I'm glad she out our place. So we are trying to clean up now. We are trying to get out everything. This is where the tenant left. Yeah. This is where the tenant left. I'm not even want to go into the bathroom. I'm not going around there. So this is where the tenant left.
Okay, so I'm not going to pretend to have understood most of the words that came out of that woman's mouth. I don't speak Jamaican or Haitian. The accent is thick for me there. So sorry if you're watching this. All I heard a lot of was roaches. A lot of roaches. That place is trashed and tenant bad. Because it is. It is trashed. Tenant is bad. I'm sure there are roaches. That place looks filthy. Super messed up. I'm gonna go to the next video because I really don't have much more to say about that. I couldn't understand a lot of what she was saying. So let's go to the next one. Okay, this will be the last video. It's kind of a long one. I skipped the first part. She mentions basically just a super nice house that she had rented out to a family and how she kind of got impatient because she wanted to either sell the house or rent it and make some money, you know, right away, which I get. I get wanting to make some money, but obviously it didn't work out in her favor. So let's see how it goes.
I was greedy. I was wanting to get it done. I want to sell it or get the tenant in, and there was a family applied for this property. They looked really nice. Outside, they looks like a nice family with kids and everything. And I didn't really expect much for rent. I just kind of try it out. I throw it out $2,000, and I thought it was too much, and they were willing to pay. So I was like, you know what, $2,000 a month, that's a lot of money. For the whole year I can make 20 grand. So I let them rent the house. The worst decision I ever made. Let me show you when they left. They only stayed there for 10 months. 10 months. Let me show you. If you're eating, I suggest you save this video, watch it later. This is not a good appetizer for you. So the house is in really distressed condition. Like there's outlet popping out like this. There's trash everywhere in the house. When I went in there first time, seeing it while this was still packing, I almost cried in front of them. It hurt me so bad. We put a lot of money and effort to get the house. Looks really nice, and they just completely trashed it. The smell, it's horrible. They had so many dogs. They told me they only had one, but I think they had multiple dogs. Upstairs, the brand new carpet is completely destroyed. They had their dogs, I don't know, just went to the bathroom in there. We tried to get professional cleaners twice. I had someone come in, clean it twice. The carpet looks clean after the second time, but the smell, guys, you can't get rid of the smell. So eventually we have to rip the whole thing out and replace the new carpet. It has soil everywhere. I mean, it's heartbreaking to see the condition people live in, because I could see which room was the kids' room, and this was the kids' room. They don't have no bed frame, nothing. They just put mattress, which disgusting looking, on the ground, and right next to it you see dog poop. Like I can tell the dog poop and pee in there, and your kid just laying next to it, smelling it every day and night. I was there for like 2-3 hours and I threw up. There's a tons of black marks like this from the dog. This door was clean white before they move in. It's horrible. And the freaking dog just chew up my beautiful stained glass window trims. There was like this, like 2-3 of them. It's really heartbreaking. I'm pretty sure someone lived in the basement and basically let his dog poop and pee in there. I'm pretty sure. It smells so bad. I had to hire somebody to do this part. I couldn't. I threw up too many times. We spent a fortune paying for this beautiful flower bed. It was really bad condition when I purchased the house, but we got it all nice. We put new mold, we put new flowers. And looks what they left for me when they move out. 10 months. You couldn't keep up with those flowers. It was in the lease. It was their responsibility to keep up with the flower beds. But if you couldn't do it though, let me know. Let me know. I'll do it. I'll pay for it. Don't let it grow like this. Ridiculous. This is the backyard before they move in. We have grass everywhere. I mean, they're not looking perfect, but there's still grass everywhere covering the ground. This is what they left for me. They have them multiple dogs just playing around the backyard and basically create this trail in the backyard, and there's no grass there. And even today I still couldn't get the grass up, and weeds everywhere in the back. And again, it's their responsibility to cut the lawn because, you know, it's part of the rent. I spent in thousands to repair, get everything back to the original condition before they move in. And on top of that, they left a freaking water bill. $1,640 that I had to pay, because after they left and I repaired and everything, I wanted to try Airbnb because I was too afraid to get another long-term tenant. At least Airbnb, you get a little bit more control, you know, each weekend or each night. And I had to pay because they said if I don't pay, you know, they're not gonna turn the water back on. So I spent another $1,600 on their water. It was horrible experience, but a huge learning experience for me. So now I'm really selective of getting the tenant. I'm no longer, greedy. Having a vacancy, it hurts you. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing $15, I'm losing $17, but it's better. It's better losing the rent for vacancy than getting these, I don't know how to call them, rats, staying at your house and literally destroy it.
Okay, so yeah, that one kind of sucks. I definitely feel very bad for her. Jeez, because it wasn't. Like I said, I didn't show you the beginning part because it's just kind of 2 minutes of her just showing how nice the house was. But you saw a couple of the pictures, like the backyard and that little flower garden and such. The house was nice. It had some nice stained glass windows and such. Yeah, they totally trashed that house. That's horrible. That would also make me very weary of ever renting out a place if I ever owned a place to rent out. I'd still kind of like to try it. A part of me wants to do it, but I admit that scares me a little bit. There's a ton of stories like that. I've seen some stories of, well, like police footage, right? Where they'll come in and there's like a family, their house is completely trashed. Their kids are like almost locked in their room and there's just feces everywhere. It's gross. It's sad. It's really sad. And she mentioned how the kids had a bed next to dog poop. That's sad. That breaks my heart a little bit. She shouldn't have to pay that water bill. That's obviously not on her. That shouldn't be her responsibility whatsoever because it should be under their name. So that's messed up. But I mean, I guess a part of me gets it because the gas bill, for instance, is under my mom's name. She's the reason it got so high. And at one point she tried to switch it over to my name, but they wouldn't let us do it and bring that down. But granted, I'm related to her, right? I'm not someone who's renting the house. I don't know all the nuances to that, but it feels kind of messed up for that part. The whole story's messed up, though, to be completely fair. That sucks. Does anyone know of any stories like this that have happened? Has this happened to you? Have you rented out a place? Have you ever rented a place that was just poorly managed by a landlord? I wasn't planning on talking about Airbnbs today, but, there's a couple of those videos that just kind of fall in that category, and I think they work. You ever rent a bad Airbnb? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I want to know. Please click subscribe, like the video. Like I said, help me out. I want to grow this channel. I want to get it monetized so I'm honestly not as concerned about the gas bill, so I can get a better computer where I have less camera glitchy stuff and other nonsense that's been happening. So please help me out. I would appreciate it. Have a good day. And just remember, be grateful for the things that you do have, right? And that you're not living next to poop next to your bed anyways. I hope. I'm done talking now. Goodbye.